What's up everyone, welcome to the channel. Since I've been covering the eShop's closure, I decided to make this video to put the word out or remind you that there is a sizable sale mainly of SEGA games, including the coveted Atlus titles, many of which are going for really high prices physically. The discounts are really significant, up to 80%, making each of these games less than 10 bucks. And since the stores are closing in less than a year, it's very likely that this is going to be the last sale for some or all of these maybe. In order to produce this video faster and have as many of you aware of the sale as possible, I'm not going into too much detail about each game, just a very quick brush through each one, and many of them I have already covered in previous videos. If you want to check them out for several games worth getting on your 3DS and Wii U, I'll be leaving the links in the description. So alright, hope you enjoy, welcome to the channel, this is From the Void. Let's start with the SEGA/Atlus sale. The Atlus games in particular are where most of the sales value is, because most of them are going for really high prices in their physical form. The sale is ending on April 17th, so you have roughly a week as of the release of this video. So let's take a look at the games. Starting with Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure. This is one of the most expensive games in physical form and is somewhat of a hidden gem. It's an excellent rhythm game with impressively varied gameplay and a really high production value. It was already going for a decently fair price of $19.99, but with a 60% discount it dropped to $7.99, which is a bargain, especially compared to the crazy physical prices. If you're at all into rhythm games, this is a must. Next is another must-play hidden gem, this time for RPG fans. Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. This game is excellent, simply excellent. It's a remake of the DS original, improving pretty much everything. Graphics, quality of life, extra songs, and a very substantial new part of the story that creates a third timeline adding to the original two. This is a time travel RPG that does an excellent job on the story side. Plus the battle system is fantastic and is even better in this 3DS exclusive remake. In my opinion, this is the best entry in this entire list, and the physical is very expensive nowadays, so you're probably never again having a better chance to get this, as it's going for mere $9.99, reduced 75% from the $39.99 regular price tag. I would suggest you pick this up immediately if you're into RPGs. Moving on to the very prolific Etrian Odyssey series. There are 6 entries on this series exclusive to the DS, but one of them is not on sale. They're all available digitally, but for some reason Etrian Odyssey Mystery Dungeon is the only one not included in the sale. If you ask me, I would say that they forgot about it. I think there are so many Etrian Odyssey games that they overlooked this one and no one noticed. But all the other ones are here. Let's start with the 2 Untolds, Etrian Odyssey Odyssey Untold, The Millennium Girl, and Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold, The Fafnir Knight. I think many people may not know this. The two Untold games are reimaginings of the two original Etrian Odysseys for the Nintendo DS, but they're rather different in the sense that they also provide what they call a story mode with predetermined characters, heavy on dialogues, cutscenes, and this is actually really cool because it's something I always missed in dungeon crawlers, a heavy story focus. Both Untold games are going for $7.99 with a 60% discount over the $19.99 full price. Then we have Etrian Odysseys 4, 5 and Nexus, which are straight up classic style Etrian Odyssey games, with Nexus being the final one in the series, at least so far. They're everything to be expected from this franchise, a big number of classes to try out while building your team of heroes, several quests to tackle, and a fantastic sense of exploration and discovery hard to find anywhere else. Great games, all of them. 4 is going for $7.99 with a 60% discount, 5 got a 70% discount going for $8.99, and Nexus got a boosted 75% discount going for $9.99. Every single Etrian Odyssey game has been climbing in price significantly as of late, so take advantage of this sale. Next is fantastic strategy RPG Stella Glow. This is the third time I talk about this one, so suffice it to say, I love it. And I think it's one of the best strategy RPGs despite the chibi characters and the witch tuning sessions, which feel kinda weird at first. But it's a fine game for fans of tactical RPGs, and you're probably never again finding it for as cheap as $7.99 with a 60% discount. Next are all the games in the Megami Tensei franchise, and there are no less than 8 of them, and they're all great. First, there is Shin Megami Tensei 4 and 4 Apocalypse that bring the dungeon crawling in third person and are probably the best ones in terms of production value. Apocalypse is sort of a sequel to 4, not an enhanced version or anything like that, so both are worth picking up. 4 got a 60% discount, reducing it from $19.99 to $7.99, and Apocalypse got a 70% discount, reducing it from $29.99 to $8.99. Then the two Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor games, Devil Survivor Overclocked and Devil Survivor 2 Record Breaker. Those are enhanced remasters of DS originals, and they mix things up a bit by presenting the encounters in a grid-based tactical RPG style, but the combats themselves are regular turn-based. It's an interesting mix of features. They also have very dark and interesting stories, great games. They're going for $7.99 each with a 60% discount on their $19.99 full price. Then my personal favorite of the bunch, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux. This is a rather different one in terms of premise. There's a global climactic apocalypse that apparently caused a dimensional rift, and you control a team of specialists sent to investigate it. It's pretty cool. This is the most expensive out of all of them. The regular price is $39.99, so the 75% discount feels very meaningful, bringing it to $9.99. Then Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. This is the one that is receiving a sequel. They announced it last month, simply called Soul Hackers 2. It's a more futuristic, cyberpunky take on the franchise. I've only played a little bit of it, but seems great story-wise. It's a remake of a Japan-only Sega Saturn game, so it's probably the least modernized of the bunch, but a great RPG nonetheless. It's getting a 60% discount from $19.99 to $7.99. And finally, the two Persona Q games. These are pretty much the Persona take on the Etrian Odyssey style of dungeon crawling. Q1 mixes Persona 3 and 4 characters together, while Q2 fuses Persona 3, 4 and 5. It's pretty crazy. Great games for fans of Persona. The first one is going for $7.99 with a 60% discount, while Q2 is $9.99 reduced from $39.99 with a substantial 75% discount. Now moving on to the regular Sega non-Atlus titles. First, another very sought after RPG, Seventh Dragon 3 Code VFD. Despite the number 3, this is the 4th entry in the series, but the only one that ever made out of Japan. It is another game somewhat similar to the Etrian Odysseys in functionality, with lots of dungeon crawling, building your team of characters and unique classes, but the story receives a heavy focus here, separating it a little from the aforementioned series. This is another great JRPG exclusive to the 3DS and very much worth picking for $8.99 with a 70% discount from the $29.99 regular price. Moving away from RPGs now, we have Super Monkey Ball 3D. I get the feeling this game got a bad reputation because it offers something a bit different from the usual Monkey Ball gameplay, but it actually received good scores like 8s. It's true that it doesn't have monkey target and the levels are way less crazy and easier than in previous games of the series, but if you give it a chance, it's a pretty decent game. There are 3 main game modes: the regular level tilting Monkey Ball, a Mario Kart style racer, and a Smash Bros style arena brawler. Monkey Ball is the best for sure, but the other 2 can be fun, especially for kids. Right now, Super Monkey Ball 3D is going for $7.99 with a 60% discount. Now all the more modern Sonic games on the 3DS, and there are several of them. The best one is probably Sonic Generations, with well-received controls, presentation, and level design. This is the one that mixes the 2 different Sonics. This is a pretty good Sonic game. It's going for $9.99 with a 50% discount. All Sonic games here receive the same treatment and are going for the same price of $9.99, so I'm not gonna repeat it. Next is Sonic Lost World, which received mixed receptions, especially because of the control scheme, so be advised, and it's even worse on the 3DS compared to the Wii U because of the compression they had to do with the cutscenes. Then the 2 titles on the dreaded and despised Sonic Boom spin-off, with Sonic wearing a very stupid scarf, and poor Knuckles here, oh my god, what did they do to you? Anyway, Fire and Ice is the better one of them. It received 7s, while Shatter Crystal was panned universally with lots of 4s and some giving it 2s even. Apparently the pacing is terrible and the platforming itself is very flawed, so probably not one worth picking up unless you are set on having every single Sonic game. And finally, Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. This is a great racing game, to this day the best competitor to Mario Kart I've ever played, but unfortunately the 3DS version is the worst one for this game, with lower frame rates and dumbed down graphics, so you better get this elsewhere. Even if you're looking to play this portably, the Vita version is a better option. Next are the several classic games from Sega that were ported over to the 3DS to make use of the 3D effect. These are classic Sega Genesis or Master System games, and there are 20 of them. Most have been made available in other consoles and collections, but on the 3DS they added extra features, most importantly the 3D effect, a unique way to play them that some may be interested in getting before the stores close. There are 2 ways to acquire them. You can opt to purchase each one individually or go with the Sega 3D Classics collection that offers 10 of them bundled together for way cheaper, and then get the other ones not included in the pack separately, which is what I did. So let's start with the Sega 3D Classics collection games. It features 10 of them: the original Sonic, Puyo Puyo 2, Power Drift, Galaxy Force 2, Thunderblade, Altered Beast, Maze Walker, and 3 Fantasy Zones: Fantasy Zone 2, Fantasy Zone 2 The Tears of Opa Opa, and the original Fantasy Zone. Now my favorite of all of those is for sure Thunderblade. It's a helicopter shooter with 2 camera positions that was really improved with the 3D effect. You have no idea, this looks amazing. Of course, by recording it on the camera, the 3D effect is not perceptible, but trust me, this is impressive. And the game is rather cool by itself, so this is great. Power Drift also received a great treatment. It makes good use of the 3D with the environments approaching the player during the racing tracks, which is pretty cool. Puyo Puyo 2 is okay. It's a regular puzzle game of Puyo Puyo. The 3D doesn't make a big difference, but it's there. Another very impressive one is Galaxy Force 2. This is a shooter in third person with tight corridors, and the 3D here is amazing again. It even makes use of the Circle Pad Pro or the C-Stick if you have it. This one is very worth it. Maze Walker is kinda cool. The 3D effect adds some novelty as it has a top-down view that benefits from it, but this is a Master System game, so more of a curiosity probably. Altered Beast doesn't make great use of the 3D, but the game remains kind of fun. Same thing with the original Sonic. The game is great, but the 3D doesn't make much of a difference. And out of the 3 Fantasy Zone games, only the Tears of Opa Opa makes great use of the 3D, and it's the most fun of all of them. This one is actually great. The other two are kinda meh. The Sega 3D Classics Collection is going for $7.99 with a 60% discount, so each game here is going for less than $1. By the way, it's worth mentioning that the Sega 3D Classics Collection is the only way to get 4 of these games in these particular 3D enabled versions: Power Drift, Fantasy Zone 2 The Tears of Opa Opa, Puyo Puyo 2, and Maze Walker, while the other 6, the original Sonic, Fantasy Zone 2, Galaxy Force 2, Thunder Blade, and Altered Beast, can be bought separately. Meanwhile, there are other 10 games not available in the 3D collection that you'll have to buy individually. Space Harrier is a no-brainer for the 3D effect, and it even includes touch controls that function really well. This is among the better ones for sure. Then Sonic 2, which is much like the original Sonic. It doesn't make too great a use of the 3D, but it's good enough. And Streets of Rage 1 and 2, which in my opinion are rather cool to play in 3D. Same thing with Gunstar Heroes, and this here is my favorite of the whole 20 games. I love Gunstar Heroes, and this is a really nice way to play it. Echo the Dolphin, on the other hand, is one that is not made too much better in 3D, plus the game is infuriating, so this was a pass for me. Outrun and Super Hang-On are nice racers to play in 3D. The effect is great in both of them. Then Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja, is a great looking game, and the 3D makes it even better. I enjoyed this one a lot. And finally Afterburner 2, which looks great in 3D and has both touch as well as Circle Pad Pro controls, which is pretty cool. Every single one of those here are currently 50% off, going for $2.99 each. And with that, we've covered all Sega games on sale, but there are quite a few others from other publishers also on discount. Most notably 2 games I have on the list to cover more in the future: the Excave series. There are 2 on discount currently, Excave 2 and 3. These are rather obscure action RPGs. They are no doubt budget titles, alright, but well made for what they are. Pretty decent dungeon crawlers with a lot of equipments and items to find and missions to complete. Not much of any story anywhere to be found here though. The first one is also available to download, but wasn't included in the discount, probably because it was already the cheapest of the 3. Excave 2 is going for $2.38 and Excave 3 for $2.98, both 70% off. This sale lasts until April 27th. The Excave games are 3DS exclusives now, as they were on mobile, but as far as I can tell, they were removed from the stores. Next we have all the SteamWorld games on the 3DS. SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Dig 2, and SteamWorld Heist. Those are all fantastic games, you can't go wrong with any of them. The 2 Dig games are Metroidvania action platformers, heavy on exploration, and a really well polished gameplay with a cool story on both. Then Heist is a tactical shooter game with a very unique gameplay. First of all, differently from most tactical games, it's not in a top-down view, but rather in a side view in 2D. You order your robots to move, each with widely different weapons and abilities, and to attack, you manually aim the shot at the enemies, which introduces a welcome skill-based feature into a strategy game. SteamWorld Heist is pretty cool, and it's a shame that lots of people passed on it not knowing how unique it is. Dig 1 is going for merely $1.99 with a 77% discount. Dig 2 is going for mere $3.99 with a 80% discount, and Heist is going for $2.99, also 80% off. Following up with Thorium Wars, Attack of the Skyfighter. This is a budget game, okay, don't go expecting greatness, but it's a decent one. It's a free-flying shooter, sort of like the free-range stages in Star Fox, but a slow kind of those. The missions are interesting, varied, and challenging, but the game is kinda short, lasting about 3 hours or so. But then again, it's inexpensive, and even more so now that it got a 60% discount going for $1.99. This sale ends on April 13th. And to close things off, Silver Falls 3 Downstars. This is going for a 25% discount, but it's a very expensive game at $25.99 full price, so 25% puts it at $19.49, which is still too high of a price for this game in my opinion. It's a creepy horror survival very inspired by Silent Hill, but nowhere near as polished. It's an interesting curiosity because this game was released in 2020 when no more games were being released on the 3DS, but the price is just crazy even with a discount. This sale ends on April 14th. And that's it for today's video. I hope this was helpful to remind some of you of these sales that are going on and that some of you can benefit from them, because there is a good chance that this is the last one for several of these games. Stay tuned for more soon, as the next part of the eShop closing coverage is under production. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.